This will be for the con assignment, number of solutions to systems of equations, intermediate. So it says here the given system has infinite solutions. They want us to find the value of k. Okay, when a system of equations has infinite solutions, that means you have the same line equations. Okay, so graphically, if you had infinite solutions, it would basically be the same line on top of itself. Okay, it intersects everywhere throughout the line. All right, so in many cases, when you have infinite solutions or the same line equation, in many cases, you have one equation that is a multiple of the other. Okay, so it might not look exactly the same because one equation is just a multiple of the other. So it's usually pretty easy to determine the multiplying factor. Okay, you want to avoid the part of the equation with the k at first. Okay, so you can either work with these two constants here, or you can work with the 6y and 2y. Okay, clearly you can see if you took 2y and multiplied it by 3, you would get 6y. Okay, if you can't do it, if you have one where you can't do it in your head, just do the larger term divided by the smaller term, and you can see that it's a 3. You'd have to multiply it by 3. All right, so in order for these equations to match, we have to multiply the bottom equation by 3. All right, so let's do that. Multiply by 3. We have to distribute, and I'm going to write it right under here so we can match it up. Okay, 3 times 14, that's 42. Keep the equal sign. 3 times 2y is going to give us 6y. And then 3 times kx is going to give us 3kx. Okay, the reason I'm allowed to do that is because I distributed the 3 to both sides of the equal sign. So I multiplied both sides times the same number. And now we can see the 42 matches, the 6y's match, the x's match, and we have 21 is the constant with x, and 3k is the constant with x. So 3k is going to equal 21. Okay, and dividing both sides by 3, k is going to equal 7. So you just enter that in the box. And that just tells you if you made k equal to 7, that makes these two line equations the same line. And that would cause you to get infinite solutions. Okay, here they say the given system has a unique solution. All right, so if a system of equations has a unique solution, that will always be true as long as you have different slopes. Okay, lines with different slopes will always intersect eventually, and that is considered the solution. So here they ask, find the only real value that k can't take. The only way you would not have a unique solution is if you had two lines with the same slope. Okay, if you had two lines with the same slope, it would be like that. They would never intersect and you'd have no solution. And the only other case would be like infinite solutions, when you have the same line on top of itself. In both of those cases, you have the same slope. So that would be the only real value that k can't be. All right, if you have the same slope. So we want to find the slopes here. Okay, in order to find the slope, we need to find m. And in order to find m, we have to make the equations in the form y equals mx plus b. Okay, remember m is the slope. It's the number multiplied by x. So we need to solve for y in both of these equations. All right, on the first one, we have y. I'm going to do -1 on both sides. And it cancels here. And I'm also going to do -3x on both sides. And it cancels here as well. Okay, and we could ignore the 0. So now we have y equals -3x minus 1. On the other equation, solving for y, I'm going to add 5 to both sides. And I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. 2x minus 2x cancels. -5 plus 5 cancels. And in order to solve for y, we have to divide both sides by k. Okay, and now we have y equals this right here. We can ignore the 0, and I'm going to rewrite. Okay, on this side we have y equals. And remember, when you have numbers that are added or subtracted over a common denominator, both of those numbers or terms are over the denominator. So I'm going to write the x term first. We have -2x over k. And we have +5 over k. All right. And the only thing we need to worry about, we don't need to worry about this. We're just looking to get the same slope. Okay. So the slope, remember, we said is m. It's whatever is times x once you get it in the correct form. So the slope here is -3. That's times the x. And the part that's times x over here is -2 divided by k. Okay, that's times the x. So we just have to make -2 over k equal to -3. Okay, multiplying both sides by -1, we can make it positive. And I am going to take the reciprocal of both sides. Instead of 2 over k, I'm going to make this k over 2. Okay, and instead of 3, which is the same as 3 over 1, I'm going to make that 1 over 3. And then multiplying both sides by 2. The 2's cancel. And k is going to equal 1 times 2, which is 2, divided by 3. So if k equals 2/3, that would make these two equations have the same slope, which means they would not have a unique solution. So the only value that k can't take is going to be 2/3. So inside the box, I just type 2/3. Okay, here it says the given system has no solution. No solution is going to be two lines with the same slope, okay, but a different y-intercept. So in order to have no solution, you need two separate lines with the same slope. What is the only value of k that doesn't work? And one case where you wouldn't have no solutions is if you had infinite solutions. Okay, and remember before when we did infinite solutions, we said that infinite solutions would be the same equation. Okay, the same line equation. So basically, anything for k that would make these exactly the same would not give you no solution, okay? And this one's easy. We can see the 5x's match. We can see the y's match. And we can see the zeros match on the other side of the equal sign. So if k were to equal -1, you'd have the same equation on the top and bottom, in which case you would not have no solution. So k could not equal -1. All right, I'll do one more briefly. Here they say the given system has infinite solutions. Remember that infinite solutions are the same equations, all right? And they want us to find the value of k. So we just have to match these equations and find k. Clearly you can see if you take 4x and you multiply it by 3, you will get 12x. If you take -12 and you multiply it by 3, you will get -36. So if you take -ky and multiply it by 3, you should get 9y. So let's do that. -ky multiplied by 3 is going to equal 9y. Okay? Dividing both sides by 3, the 3's will cancel. And dividing both sides by y, the y's will cancel. Okay, and we have -k. And let me see, y over y cancels. 9 over 3 is 3. -k is 3. So k equals -3.